If you're a pop culture junkie who loves TV, film, music, comedy, and other really important stuff, then you've come to the right place. Get ready and settle in for Classic Conversations, the best pop culture interviews in the world. That's right, we circled the globe so you don't have to. If you're ready to be the king of the water cooler, then you're ready for Classic Conversations with your host, Jeff Dwoskin.
All right, Megan, thank you so much for that amazing introduction. You get the show going each and every week, and this week was no exception. Welcome, everybody, to episode 222 of Classic Conversations. As always, I am your host, Jeff Dwoskin. Great to have you back for what's sure to be a banging classic conversation. Not just any banging, she bangs. William Hung's here. That's right. Rose to fame in 2004, auditioning for American Idol, singing the Ricky Martin hit song, She Bangs. We're getting the whole scoop from William in just a few seconds. And in these few seconds, just a quick reminder, if you missed last week's episode with Tom Merritt, it is an amazing chat on technology. We geek out a lot. It's a lot of fun. It's a great conversation. Do not miss it. But the thing not to miss right now is my conversation with William Hung, author of Champion by Choice, motivational speaker. You loved him on American Idol. We're going deep into the story, uncovering all the good and uncovering all the negatives of sudden fame. You're going to love my conversation with William Hung. Enjoy. All right, everyone, I'm excited to introduce you to my next guest, singer, motivational and TEDx speaker, professional poker player. Loved him on American Idol, singing She Bangs by Ricky Martin. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, William Hung. What?
Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me.
William, so glad to have you on the show. I usually kind of try to go a little linear, but I want to jump into the future and then we'll come back. So, I mean, I know you from your American Idol fame. I was there. I was watching, from my living room. What I want to know is flash forward from that and then we'll go back. What was it like to actually sing with Ricky Martin? You got to actually get on stage with Ricky Martin. I thought that was one of the coolest end caps to this story. It was just, how'd that happen?
Wow. It was a dream come true because when I first auditioned for American Idol, I didn't expect anything. I just thought go home like everybody else. I go back to normal life and that was it. And then my audition somehow went viral and Ricky Martin took notice. He mentioned that he wanted to perform with me multiple times throughout the years, but it finally happened in 2018. The way it happened, it was like he mentioned me again on the radio. I didn't even catch that. One of my friends called me right away and she said, wow, you got to go call the radio station because I heard it this morning. And then I got in touch with Ricky Martin's manager and then it finally happened.
I saw the video on your Instagram.
Yes.
I mean, how surreal was it just to be up there, like actually singing with him? And did you get to hang out with him before or after? Or was it just kind of you went on stage and did your thing with Ricky and then...
I got to meet Ricky before I performed with one of my good friends. And he's so down to earth. He's so humble, very nice, genuine guy.
Did he tell you what it meant to him on any level? Like just the added popularity?
He did mention something about he appreciate how I added popularity to his song.
Yeah, you blew it up. He did a good job with it also, but I mean, you gave it a life that he probably never would have realized was possible. That is really cool. William, with the audition for American Idol, before that, and I know you won a talent show and you can talk about that. And what was your connection to singing or wanting to be an entertainer before all this American Idol craziness happened?
My parents took me to karaoke since I was 10 years old in Hong Kong. And then I fell in love with it. And that's why I took the chance in school when there was a talent show. To my surprise, I won. And that gave me the confidence to audition for American Idol.
how did you end up picking Ricky Martin's She Bangs amongst all the songs out there to do at your talent show?
I thought that song was unique, like his song. It was Latin, it was a good party song. I enjoyed it. I feel singing it, it feels great with my friends. And that's why I picked that one.
All right. So you go to the talent show, you win the talent show. And how did you discover the American Idol audition?
I heard it on the news a few days after I won the talent show.
Okay, so you're on a high.
Yes.
You just won a talent show, and then you get wind that American Idol is not too far from you, right? The auditions were pretty close to you. You're in LA at this point?
I was in San Francisco.
San Francisco, okay. You were in San Francisco, and the auditions were pretty close
In San
to
Francisco.
in San Francisco. So talk to me about like the process, not the Randy Paula audition just yet. The whole kind of getting in there, because there's thousands of people. Do they see everyone that show up to that, or do they only take a certain amount? Like how many do they actually filter through?
The way it works is that everybody can show up and then the staff will screen and then they will decide that most people will go home after about 15 seconds. That's it. I thought I would go home as well. But somehow the staff, they like me. They let me through. And I'll never forget. She's a current producer now. Her name is Megan Wolflick. At the time, she worked in the team, the staff, and she let me through. I was like so surprised, and I had to thank her because if it wasn't for her, nothing else would have happened.
So when you're the pre-auditions before the one we saw on TV,
Right.
the one with Megan, that was round one, and you didn't sing "She Bangs" for that. I read your book, so I know. Okay, so right, so this is good. So you actually sang a Phil Collins song for round one.
Yes, it's called Two Worlds. And then she said, like, what other songs do I know? I told her She Bangs because I won a talent show in school. And she said, yes, you should totally pick that song. And then I want you to dress a lot better for next day.
Okay.
Because at the time I was wearing this casual black T-shirt. I wasn't expecting anything. But when she said, she wants me to come back the next day at the hotel, I was like, oh my goodness, this could be serious. And I took it like that.
Right, because at this point it's gone from like 3,000, and then only like 180 made it to round two, which you just mentioned, and then like 100 made it from round two to round three. All right, so for round two, you sang "She Bangs."
Yes, it was in front of the producers, and then I just thought like, wow, they let me through again. I was so lucky. And then eventually I got to see Randy, Paula, and Simon.
That's right. This is the audition that we all know you from, right? So when you audition for Randy, well, let me go back for a second. So there's footage of you, waiting to come in and stuff like that. Did they do any kind of pre-stuff? Did they talk to you? Did they find out your background? Oh, he's from Hong Kong. He moved to the United States.
Yes.
Like, how much did they know about you before you walked in front of Randy, Paula, and Simon?
They didn't know that much about me. They know that I was from Hong Kong. I was a college student. I like karaoke since I was young. Basically what I told you. And that's about it. And then they asked me why I think I deserve a chance at American Idol. I said that, everyone deserve a chance to try. You never know.
The producers, Megan, that you mentioned, some of the people that got a chance to sing did not get many words out of their mouths before they were cut and sent home, right? So
yeah.
Round one and round two, they definitely had their eye on you.
Yes, they did.
They wanted you to see Randy, Paula, and Simon, right?
Yeah.
All right. So now you're in front of Randy, Paula, and Simon. So this season is, which season is this of American Idol?
Season 3.
Season 3. Okay. So this is still early on. And then you're auditioning.
Mm-hmm.
You gave it obviously from the video, and I've watched it. I saw it originally and I've seen it again recently. I mean, you're giving your all. Your heart's in this. It's obvious. So Paula maintains a smile. Randy's kind of laughing behind a sheet of paper. And Simon wants to basically be anywhere but there, right?
Yeah.
So you sang for a bit. I mean, they let you go for a while. So while Randy's kind of laughing and You know, how did you kind of just maintain your composure during that moment? I mean, because it's got to be intimidating just being in front of those three anyway.
Yeah, my knees were shaking. I had butterflies to my stomach. And that's why my movements were so jerky on TV. It was like doing Zumba exercises. Not my proudest moment.
Well, I mean, I'm not a mover either, so I I thought you were doing great. My wife's a dancer. I'm not a dancer. She calls me a chair.
Yeah.
She says I'm a chair dancer. Like I can move if I don't have to. If I don't have to like get my legs involved, I can do it. You put your whole body into it. You put your whole body in. All right, so you put your all. You've skipped school to be here. You didn't even tell your mom you were coming,
Nope.
right?
Nope.
I read in your book that part of why you did it was to make your mom proud, right?
Yeah.
What drove that piece of it? Like what was the story behind that?
Well, I was struggling with academics. I was about to get flunked out of school. I thought I need to try something different. And that's why I took a chance.
So in your head, when you're kind of thinking, all right, I'm going to do this for my parents, I'm not telling them, what were you hoping? Like they would just see on TV and like,
I was hoping that I either make it to Hollywood and then I tell my parents, or I don't make it and then nobody has to know about it.
Okay, so that part two almost happened. Probably for a lot of people, part two happened.
99.999%.
But not William Hung. Played out a little different. What was it like actually being there with Simon kind of just, because I mean, that was his role on the show, was the not nice guy, the mean judge.
Yes.
But he was, I could probably, very cruel to you. So, I mean, it was, worst audition, grotesque. He's,
Right.
It's like, I mean, you handled it well for it bouncing off you, but like, what was going through your mind at that time? And like, and did you even remember that moment, or was it like so surreal? Like later, you watch the video and you're like,
Oh, I remember the every moment of that audition because that was like a life-changing moment. It was like a moment I could never go back. I felt like at the time I was like disappointed when they finally stopped me. I knew I wasn't gonna make it. Once the way they react, especially Randy and Simon crossing his arms, don't want to be there. Yeah, of course I know I'm not gonna make it. But the most important decision was how I wanted to respond. I thought about this. I saw how many people would get angry and upset after the judges say you're not good, you're terrible, go home. I felt I didn't need to do that. I wanted to stay positive and set a new example.
you were positive. Paula made a point of that very clearly in it. Okay, so now you leave this audition. Obviously, probably had to have been a little upset. It just, you're not going to Hollywood. That dream's over at this moment in time, right? The dream's over. So how did you feel coming out of there, when you see other people, waiting to go in or who'd also finished and maybe told they weren't going? What was your plan at that moment? Like what was going through your head just after that audition?
My plan is to go home, pretend nothing happened, and then go back to my studies. Because what people don't know is that there was a 4-month window between the original audition and when they aired the audition on TV.
Oh, I know that, William. That's where we're going next. That's why I was curious. That's why I was curious, like at that moment, like, all right, you had packed it away. It was done. Mom and dad are never going to find out. No one's going to probably find out except maybe whoever you might have told that you were going to be there.
Yeah.
And frankly, you could have just said, it went okay. Right.
Yeah.
All right. So 4 months later.
Yes.
Your audition is part of the promo for the new season coming back, the audition section of the season.
Yes.
Talk me through that.
Well, I was a bit worried why they want to use me as the promo video.
Sorry to interrupt. We have to take a quick break. I want to thank everyone for their support of the sponsors. When you support the sponsors, you're supporting us here at Classic Conversations, and that's how we keep the lights on. And now back to my compelling story with William Hung. We're about to explore the negative side of sudden fame, and we're back.
I wasn't sure what to make of it at the time, but I still felt like maybe nothing would happen. It's like, I'm sure. I think that I'm not the only person that responded that way. It's like, wait a minute. It's like, what? It's not that big of a deal. And then the night happened when they aired the audition on TV. Then like hundreds of emails suddenly came to my inbox. And then people that emailed me were from Entertainment Tonight, Ryan Seacrest Show, Ellen DeGeneres. I was like, what? What happened there? Right away. And then I saw myself on the news right after the audition. And then the news anchor, John Beard, said, William Hung is the worst singer ever. Oh my goodness, that hurts because I was expecting Simon to be the mean guy. So I didn't take that one very hard. But when someone else that's outside looking in, being so harsh like that, ouch. Yeah. I just don't know. I had to process everything. There's just so much going on.
That is, I mean, that's a great point that you bring up. When Simon does it, you know, he's a character, and that's, you went in as a character also on the show, meaning just an auditioner. So you know there's going to be some kind of interaction that way. This newscaster, right now, that's just the public, a guy with a big pulpit, the news, and now he's calling you the worst ever.
Yeah.
Between the promo and it actually airing on the show, did you start to do interviews prior to that, or did it sort of pick up once they aired that episode?
After they aired the episode.
So after they aired, but now you're becoming kind of like a cult hero, right? I mean, it's like, well, John thought you were the worst ever. That's what endeared you also and your passion, right? To everyone else, right? I mean, that was just like, because you in a way represented everyone, right? Who just, who is never going to make it, but as American Idol, but said, you know what? I'm doing this. I'm going out there and I'm going to I'm going to take that chance, which I think a lot of people, it resonated with, right? And it was just, plus it's a great song and you crushed it. All right. So talk to me about meeting Ellen DeGeneres.
Well, it was also very surreal at the time. I couldn't believe I got to shake hands with her. And I remember I did like Shake Your Bonbon on her show. That was so much fun. Yes, it was my own unique style. If we measure that by any traditional standards, I don't think I did very good. But like you said, I didn't care because in a way, it's like, I just want to have fun and be myself.
Yeah, I mean, you went for it. In your book, you say everyone hits rock bottom. People don't normally do it on national television, but that's how I did it. But do you really feel, was that rock bottom, or do you feel being on this podcast is rock bottom?
No,
I'm kidding.
I had other rock bottoms in my life besides the entertainment career. Whether it's marrying the wrong girl afterwards and divorcing twice, or losing a bunch of my money that I earned in the stock market. I have many more rock bottoms besides that one.
Do you really consider that a rock bottom? Because that's what's sort of like, that's why we're talking now. That's why you got on Ellen DeGeneres. Like without that moment, without you going for it, that without that courageous audition, that's sort of what was sort of like the first step towards all this other stuff, right?
Yeah, I feel in life, everything happens for a reason. So I'm a big believer in creating your own luck, but also sharing your version of your story. Because so many people want to make up other versions of my story, whether it's like, I don't deserve to be in the business, I'm terrible at singing and dancing, I portray stereotypes, and other forms of criticism. But to me, I look at it as like, well, I have my fans, and those are the people I'm most grateful for, because without them, I wouldn't be able to stay so strong.
Yeah, it's interesting. You mentioned in your book that people thought you potentially were perpetuating certain Asian stereotypes, and that one of your pastors even told you to kind of let it go, don't make things worse. How did you internalize and deal with all of that? I mean, because it's like you said, it's just like this other John guy from the news. It's like, this is now outside of the playground of American Idol. This is real life kind of casting stones.
Yeah. Well, I had a choice. It was a difficult choice because I either go out there and be part of that crazy momentum, or whatever you call it. It's like, just imagine if everybody is talking about you, like both negative and positive. Like, where do you want to be in that conversation. Like, yes, you could hide yourself behind the room or, maybe wear a mask. Don't talk to anybody for a while. Maybe people will forget about it. I had that choice, but that choice seems terrible. Because if I look at the long term, yeah, the money was attractive, but it's not the only factor. It was because I don't want to be remembered the wrong way. Yes, what I did, I cannot take back when I do the audition, for better or for worse. But I feel that I want to at least, have my voice out there.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I tell the story. I joke around what's the game where you sing like Rockstar, like
Yeah, Rockstar Hero or something like
yeah,
that.
Rockstar Hero. Like my friends would say, Jeff, you're not invited anymore. I'm like, why? He goes, because you're making fun of us. I'm like, how am I making fun of you? The way you're singing, because I can't sing. I can't sing either. And I'm like, that's not me making fun of you. That's just me. So I hear you. I wish I could sing. I wish I could get that voice out. All right. So this leads though to a lot. There was so much. The talent show I read in your book, they had you back.
Yes.
At the Clark Care dorms at the UC Berkeley.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah.
So they bring you back. They give you a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh, wow. You really did your homework.
I don't mess around, William.
Yeah.
What was that? A certificate? Or what was that?
Yeah.
And do you have that framed? I would have that framed if I were.
I know. I had to find it. It's so crazy.
So, all right. So you're dancing with Ellen, you're getting Lifetime Achievement Awards, you're doing all this kind of good stuff. And then you actually got a record deal out of this too, right? Koch Records.
Yes, I did. Yes.
All right. So they hit you up with a good 25 grand. So what was the whole process of kind of making your first album? Because you've made 3.
Yeah, so the process was record as many cover songs as quickly as possible, a few original songs, put it out there before they could find the American Idol winner. That was the process for the first album.
Okay, so they're trying to, Koch Records is like, all right, we got the hottest guy from American Idol. He's not even the winner. He's not even in the show anymore. He was only in one episode. But we're going to take advantage. Was Koch Records, were they connected with American Idol or not? Or they just saw this opportunity?
They saw the opportunity and they really capitalized on it. Somehow, I don't know how this happened, but that first album became the #1 independent album on Billboards.
I had that album. I had the album.
Wow.
I remember me and my friend Mike White listening to it at work. So on this album, you have, what are some of your favorite? Do you have any personal favorites? So you got I Believe I Can Fly, Hotel Hotel California.
Rocket Man, Can You Feel the Love Tonight, YMCA,
Two Worlds, which was your original song. That was a nice homage there. And then you had a couple Elton John songs on it. YMCA and Shake Your Bon Bon, another Ricky.
Yes.
Another Ricky Martin. So that sold like hundreds of thousands. You're #1, like you said. And then you tour with that. Like how did you promote the album and
my record company, they do set up some tours, some promotions. And then I also got invited a lot to big events, commercials. It was just crazy. Everything went viral at the same time.
Is that how you're taking advantage of it? Did you have somebody giving you advice and coaching you at this time?
The only person that wanted to be my agent, he wanted 40% of my lifetime earnings. Even though I was a kid, I knew that was a bad deal. So no way. And then my mom was worried about me, so she became my manager.
Okay. All right. So what did you do to kind of capitalize? You said you did events. Did I read correctly? You were making like 10,
events,
20 grand.
Commercials.
You would perform live and get like 10, 20 grand just to perform.
Yeah, that's right.
And this is during the heyday of those.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So you're all right. So you're taking it, you're doing it. That's that's exciting. I don't make that much to sing 2 songs. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So that's exciting. And then you did a second album.
Yes, Hung for the Holidays,
which is possibly one of the greatest names. It would also be a great name for a porno.
No.
Yeah, but I mean, well, I'm just kidding. And then a third one, Miracle, Happy Summer.
Yeah.
So this is, and then like you said, you're doing commercials at this time as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're in like hot demand. You're in hot demand, right? You're doing
Yeah.
Ask.com, Game Show Network.
AT&T. Yeah.
How is that? Is that like, are you just, and then you were in a movie,
Yes.
a low budget Hong Kong period comedy called Where is Mama's Boy? All right. So this is fun. So you're just, are you still at school now, or did you kind of leave school for a while and you're kind of just living the fame?
I left school and then I eventually returned to finish school about 4 or 5 years later.
Okay. So what was it like just walking down? Did everyone recognize you?
Yeah, the people still did. They still wanted pictures and autographs at the time. It was not as crazy after the first 4 or 5 years, but I still recognize a lot.
But for four or 5 years though, it was pretty intense with.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have like any like fan encounters that you can that would stand out, or were they everyone pretty chill and cool with you?
There were some pretty crazy fans. There were some random ladies holding signs and even asking me out to get married with them, even though I had no idea who they were.
Well, that's the price of fame, William. That's why I'm doing this podcast. I hope people can. No, I'm just kidding. Was it during this time that you mentioned you were married a couple times, and was some of that in the rush of fame, like that those kind of came and went, or was that after?
It was after the initial fame. At the time when I was at the peak of my career, I didn't want to marry anybody because I didn't know them. I wanted to focus on my business, and that's why I turned down all the offers.
Which offers are you turning down?
No, I mean the marriage offers.
Oh, marriage offers, right. Okay, yeah, right. You said business. I got confused for 1 second, but now I'm back. All right, so you played at the Rose Bowl. You sang at the Rose Bowl.
Yes.
So this is in front of 60,000 people.
Yeah, that was the biggest crowd I ever performed at.
I mean, and you were on stage or you shared a stage with Black Eyed Peas and Janet Jackson.
Yes, crazy.
Did you get to meet them?
I met Maroon 5.
Oh, you met Maroon 5? Did they know who you were?
Yes, they had some idea.
So was that kind of surreal when like a super group like, oh, there's William Hung?
Yeah, I know. Wow.
That's pretty cool, right? I mean, that's pretty insane. That's really, really cool, actually. All right, so you have your albums, you do this. So what was it like kind of as stuff kind of teetering out a bit, like you said, at the end of that 4 or 5 years, was it an easy transition for you, or was that a hard transition to go from the burst of popularity to kind of, it kind of weaning a little bit?
Relatively easy for me because I knew that and for entertainment career, you're not always going to be at the peak. You're not going to always have that crazy demand when everybody wants you. And yeah, it's okay. Nothing wrong with going back to a normal life, relaxing a bit. So I was expecting it anytime after the first few years.
Okay. Well, sometimes it's hard, right? I imagine, because it's like, I'm sure you get asked this a lot, and people start wanting to chase that feeling, right? And try, and if it doesn't come back, I mean, so that's good. And you had your parents and your mom to probably help kind of work you through it. So, in terms of American Idol, right? So after you became so popular on American Idol, from them showing your audition and Simon hating it and all that kind of stuff, it seemed that in future seasons, they were always trying to find the next William Hung. Did you get a feel for that? Like they would try to show some of the bad auditions to see if someone else would spark, and no one really ever sparked like you. Did you kind of have a feel for that?
Yeah, perhaps. I'm not sure because it's been their formula since the beginning. They wanted to have that concept of showing some good and bad auditions, and then like basically the extreme ends of good and bad auditions. So yeah, I mean, I feel like there were people who maybe trying to copy what I did, but you can't really copy because yes, you could have the same mindset and attitude in your life, but you cannot copy that moment and that timing.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I felt like after you shot to fame, they're like, oh, maybe this is what we should. Maybe we should not balance it anymore. Maybe we should. I felt like they tried to skew it towards the ones that they felt didn't go well because people wanted that, and then but nobody. They just never because they're like, this is because you were probably great for them, right? You probably made the show as you were popular. You were synonymous with the show, so
Yeah.
that kind of kept American Idol hot as well. And they probably wanted to kind of recapture that because you can't do that with someone who's great because those are the ones that are maybe going to go through the whole seasons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And even so, I mean, all right. So, I want to talk about, because my friend Maddie, this is his favorite thing that you did, was your guest spot on Arrested Development, which is one of my favorite shows of all time.
Oh.
And so talk to me, what was that like? So the episode you were on was mock trial with Judge Reinhold.
Yes.
And you were the leader of the band, William Hung, and the Hung jury.
Yes.
So what was it like just being on that set? And did you get to meet any of the Arrested Development folks, or was that a fun time?
It was okay. I thought the segment was fun. It's always a cool throwback moment, a cool memory, but it's not that much behind the scenes or anything notable.
No, just you didn't get to hang with Jason Bateman or anything like that, or
I don't remember that one very well, besides the singing part.
except for the singing part. Oh man, Hung jury. All right, that's awesome. Okay, well, it was still a fun thing to watch.
Yeah.
And then you have a book out now as well, Champion by Choice. And I know you do
Yes.
motivational speaking as well. So how did you make the decision to kind of pivot in that direction? And, how was it? What was the process of writing the book? What do you hope people get out of the book?
Well, we'll start with the speaking first.
Sure.
The speaking came many years later after my original audition. It was about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, that maybe like I wanted to try something different besides the singing, the performing, because I already know that my talent is not the actual singing and dancing, even though it's very entertaining. So that's why, one of my friends, she said maybe you can try to combine that with sharing your story on stage. And that's why I did. I started small. I built up the business from the ground up. And it's still like a roller coaster. Sometimes I get those opportunities, but you don't really know when you will get one. So that's where it's at. And that's okay.
Sorry to interrupt. Have to take a quick break. And we're back with William Hung, about to dive into the motivations behind writing a book. And we're back.
And then for the book, I wanted to leave a legacy. Now that's really my intention. I didn't expect to make a lot of money doing it. I want to keep my story true to what it was. I did self-publish. I got some help editing, ghostwriting. But at the end of the day, that was not if you try to make money, that's not what you want to be doing. Let's put it that way. But because if you want to make money, maybe you have to do market research. You want to get like people to like, oh, do they like this story? Do they like this topic? Like I would approach it very differently. But my goal is not to worry about that. My goal was to make sure that I told the story I wanted to share. And then people that read the book, they like the book, so I don't regret it. And then the main message is that no matter what your circumstances are, you have that choice to become a champion in life.
Yeah, I mean, the book is full of great, motivational mantras. I think I read my message for you is not simply that you can succeed despite your failures, but that you can succeed because of your failures.
Yeah.
And it was interesting when we were talking earlier about, the negativity that came, not from Simon, but from the world itself, these, the John from the news or your Joe Rogans or this, your pastors and the pastor, about the stereotypes. But you had a great quote that I wrote down. I really liked it a lot. It's not what they say, it's what you hear. And I thought that was a great quote of yours. I can't remember if that was from your TEDx that I grabbed that.
Yes, it was.
Okay. And so I just talk about that sentence for a second, because I think that's the message behind that quote, I think is very impactful.
everybody can say what they want to say. They are entitled to their opinion. It's so you only have control over how you react and respond.
Exactly. People can be cruel, but you have to kind of choose how you react to things.
Yeah.
So it's a great message. So, and then because your story is just full of a lot of cool twists and turns, poker, are you a professional poker player now? Or is that?
Yeah. Even though I put it in the back burner at the moment, I still consider myself professional poker player because the way I set the bar is every time I go out to play with you, my goal is to take your money. I'm not. I would study up all the books, courses online, and how to become better at that game. And this is something that I don't talk about at every interview. But since you brought it up, here's how my journey went with poker. I started playing poker as a hobby after the American Idol audition. I just thought like, well, it's kind of boring to do the same thing over and over again. So I wanted something different. For many, many years, that was a hobby. But about 5 years ago, when I was struggling financially after my divorces, after things didn't go well in my life, I don't want to just hide behind my cubicle. And then, just speaking and performing, I couldn't count on that because, like I said, sometimes I get a lot, sometimes I get nothing. So I have to make my own luck, and that's what I did. It was very difficult because I was holding a day job at the time. So doing studying and playing poker is like another full-time job, and that's like it was 5 hard years before I earn enough money to quit my job.
Well, I respect the dedication and the focus. I wish I've tried to play poker, and I
Yeah.
it's amazing to me how people will play and they'll be like, you've got 2 queens. I'm like, how do you know I have 2 queens? Or whatever it is, right? And I don't even know that's a thing. But like watching poker, have you been in the World Series of Poker, or is that something you want to do?
I did it before. I tried a couple what main event one time. I made day two, but nothing more than that. And that was it. Because that was the year I actually, like I wouldn't want to put up $10,000 of my own money, but that year I got like, wow, so many fans and other professional poker players, they wanted to support me. They wanted to give me that chance. So I went for it.
That's awesome. That is really cool. When you think back of like all the TV shows you've been on or interviewed or anything like that, what to you is the one that when someone asks, you go, this was a highlight. This was one of my favorite.
What do you mean? You mean the
like, oh, I love being on Ellen. Like when I was on Ellen, that was the best. Because you were on Jimmy Kimmel, you've been interviewed by Ryan Seacrest. Is there any one of them that kind of just is just like I felt that I loved that experience? Larry King, any of them?
There's no way for me to put it in to just one moment. It's everything together. Yes, I like Ellen. I like Jay Leno. Jimmy Kimmel. I also like the most recent American Idol reunion with Ryan Seacrest and other former contestants. So it was all those wonderful moments together.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So you've been back to American Idol at least twice, but most recently the 20th anniversary, where you sang "She Bangs Again," and Ryan Seacrest called you a legend. Said your name is synonymous with American Idol. So how did that feel? Like just to be back there?
I feel that was an honor. Yeah, it was so surreal because after so many years, maybe like who knows, right? Maybe I don't get another chance. I don't get another shot at this. Who knows? But I'm so like blessed and grateful for that chance, and then now I can have continue to have that momentum, and then it's like what I tell everybody is like. It's what you make out of the opportunity. For me, I wanted to make something positive. I want to use it the right way.
Had you performed on the American Idol stage prior one time before the 20th anniversary, or was that the first time actually on stage?
Oh, I did it multiple times.
Multiple times. Okay. In the 20th, though, in watching the clip, I don't think anyone was more excited to see you than Katy Perry's. That would put a flutter in my heart. But was it cool? Like, because now you're in front of like Katy Perry and Lionel Richie.
Yes.
And then was it cool kind of hanging out with Ryan Seacrest for a moment there, or?
Yes, of course.
That's awesome. You didn't have to worry about dealing with Simon, right? So
No.
he's off on America's Got Talent or something. Right? So what's your focus now? What are you focused on right now?
Well, I want to continue doing speaking and performing. I also taking on a few projects that's coming up later this year. I'm not ready to share details yet, but they all align with my mission to help people use their voice so that they can find their freedom. That's my main purpose. Couple of projects I could share right now is that I do plan to start my new podcast. But maybe that has to be in May. And then I also looking to collaborate with game designers and game publishers on creating a new board game to help people to try something new. Because I try so many business and career, I wish that I don't have to spend so much time and money up front.
Awesome. Well, I wish you nothing but the best. It was great. I know we met briefly, and you couldn't have been nicer at Podfest. I got a photo with you. I mean, you were so generous with your time. Everyone wanted a picture with you, so I thought that was cool. And then it was great seeing you sing "She Bangs" live. I gotta say, it was. I have it on my phone. I videoed it. It was. I'll use it when I release this episode. All right. Well, your book is Champion by Choice. You can get it wherever books are sold.
Yeah, the easiest way right now is Amazon. But if you want it was popular when I got up and running on Etsy, like a signature personalized autograph version of it. So if you like one of those copies, send me a direct message on Instagram, William Hung Official.
All right. Do you hang out on any of the other socials besides Instagram?
Yes, I'm also more active now on Facebook and LinkedIn. My website is williamhung.net. It's under construction. It's going to take some time, but stay tuned. Follow me on social media. You can also reach out to me, email william@williamhung.net. You have direct access to me. I think at this stage in my life, whatever I can do to help you within my power, I want to do. Because, I feel like my dream already came true in my life. So I want to make other people's dream come true as well.
William Hung, you are amazing, and I appreciate every moment you just spent with me. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, everyone. William Hung. Because she walks like she talks, and she talks like she walks. She bangs. She bangs. I don't do it nearly as good as William. Well, I tried, though. Anyway, I love talking to William. It was great to hear his side of that whole journey that we all watched from our couches on the TV and the news. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Check out William's book. I put links to his American Idol audition in the show notes, as well as all his social media links. So check those out. Well, the interview over. It only mean one thing. That's right. Episode 222 has come to an end. Can't believe it. One more huge thank you to William Hung. And of course, a huge thank you to all of you for coming back week after week. It means the world to me. And I'll see you next time.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Classic Conversations. If you like what you heard, don't be shy and give us a follow on your favorite podcast app. Also, why not go ahead and tell all your friends about the show? You strike us as the kind of person that people listen to. Thanks in advance for spreading the word, and we'll catch you next time on Classic Conversations.